Beatrice Byemanzi is a certified coach, speaker, and trainer with the John Maxwell team, a prolific speaker and team coach with the Momentum Leadership Group, a location pastor, church planter, and network leader with the Worship Harvest Ministries. Beatrice is also a business leader with Home Baked Treats, a kingdom influencer on YouTube with over 18,000 followers on the Faith Boosters weekly broadcast, and a mother of 4 biological children and many others that God has given to her. Together with her husband Jeremy, they mentor young people, and Beatrice is passionate about helping people, teams, and organizations discover and maximize their unique potential. She has authored 3 books: Powerful Living, Enjoying Your Bible, and Build Your Arsenal. Beatrice is also a hobby musician and poet. Put your hands together and welcome Pastor B3.
Thank you so much. You're so kind. Wow. Please be seated. It's good to be home. Wow. Hey. Apostle, these are your children. All this noise making. Wow, welcome. Transform 2022. This is my first time to speak at the International Transform 2022. So the nerves are real. I feel so honored and so privileged to be able to have an opportunity to share something here today on a platform with people that I greatly admire. I kept thinking that they would change. Genuinely, my husband will tell you, until I was like, for real, it's happening. Because I started showing him the lineup, the people who are going to speak at Transform. I'm like, what? But you know what? When you're a child in a home and you have a good father, you get on platforms, and the ones who want to get annoyed. Others can get anointed. Let me tell you, whether you want to believe it or not, I want you to think about the people that have stood here to speak and the ones that are coming. Apostle Mose planted over 60-something churches. Global church. I don't know what. Claude Nikondeha. Over he employs 400 people. He deals with presidents. I don't know what. Daniel Chaudhry. Wow. What hasn't he survived in life? Then you come, we're going to have Pastor M, the leader of a global movement. And then, do you understand? Then there's Beatrice Byemanzi. And some of you are asking yourselves, what has she? She has a father. And her father is the one who birthed Transform. So he decides who gets on the platform. Apostle, thank you for believing in me always. Genuinely, there is no other reason why I'm standing here apart from what I think you see. What I think you see, and you deciding that I have something to share at this amazing space where the people who are standing here are people who deserve to stand here. And so thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I sent him a message which he hasn't seen, but even though he saw it, I don't know if he was going to reply it. So it's okay. Now he's checking to see. So today I'm here to speak to you about building winning teams. Building winning teams. And that's something I love to do and I enjoy to do. And I'm going to start by asking a few questions. The first question is, what is a team? Is a team necessarily a group of people? Are we a team? Aren't we a group of people? Is a team a group of people who have great skills? Is a team necessarily a group of people who are in an organization? You can belong to the same organization and not be a team. And so I think that a team is a group of people with a common goal who are working together towards achieving something, and everyone is making a contribution. Otherwise, you're not a team member if you're not making a contribution. And you have a unifying leader, right? I think that those are 4 good components of a team. You have a common goal. You're going together towards that goal. Everyone is making a contribution towards that goal, and you have a unifying leader. Because even though you have a common goal and you're making progress towards the goal, if you don't have a leader, I don't know if we can call you a team. It becomes difficult. If you are, you will be a difficult team, or a team that achieves little or is too slow, moves very slowly. And so I think in my mind that a team is a group of people with a common leader bringing their unique skills and abilities together to achieve a specific goal over a given period of time. So teams are important. And that's where we're going to go first, to talk about the power of a team, or why is a team important? Why should I care about a team? And very interesting things that I thought about. First of all, the fact that your body is a team. Your body is a team, right? Different members making different unique contributions. You are the leader. So you determine what goal you're achieving. You might be achieving a goal or a goal. You're being global or you're being divided. So you can achieve, you decide what goal to achieve. But the body is actually a team. Now this one, the people who came for my up session, I promised them that I would tell them that, while I was meditating, it hit me that God is a team. The truth is that someone actually said that yesterday in my up session. That God is a team. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. God is a team. Had you ever thought about that? Did you know that a husband and a wife are a team? A team can be a small one. And that small team can cause destruction. It can also achieve great things. That small team of a husband and a wife, they can absolutely wreak havoc. You can even go to war because of problem in the team. Can bring problems in a nation. So it's not about the size necessarily. There are things that make a team powerful no matter the size of the team. Jesus had a team. He didn't come and achieve it all by himself. He immediately, after being anointed, the next thing he did was recruit a team. So after you have been anointed or you've got your accolades, the next thing you need is a great team. And you realize that Jesus' team did not come as a great team. It became a great team because of the quality of the leader. David had a team. He did not find great men who are already fighting and winning wars. He found them discouraged, indebted, disillusioned, I don't know what. And he turned them into a great team. So one of the major things we're going to talk about is, is the team good because it is good? Or does the leader have a contribution to make? And how big or small is the contribution of a leader to the power and capacity of a team? So do you have a team? I think you have a team. Or you are a team member. All of us are either part of a team or have a team, and some of us are not even aware that we have a team. But like your children are a team that you have as parents. So how is that team performing? And for you to make a difference as a person and as a leader, you must have a great team. Or you must be part of a great team. There is no worship harvest without the teams. There is no Mavuno without the teams. There is no Kazoza microfinance without the teams. You can have your burning vision and you can be great at it and you can grow yourself. And no, Kazoza Bank, it's not a microfinance anymore. I apologize. Yes, please. So there is not that great thing that we admire. The great leaders you admire, it's because they have great teams. Without those teams, those leaders have great vision and ideas, but that's it. And so do many other people here. That's why they don't know all our names. You might carry a bigger vision than someone, but if they have a better team, they'll make greater strides. So teams are important. Teams are critical. And great teams are powerful, but bad teams are very painful. If you have a bad team as a leader, you can be very frustrated. But I want to say today that you have the power to turn it around as a leader. And so it takes great teams to achieve global vision. We talked about global vision yesterday. But for you to achieve a global vision, I don't know if you can do it on your own. I don't know. Do you guys know someone who achieved a global vision on their own? All by themselves? Not this global vision, guys. Please, no. Seriously. I don't think but also God showed us the way. Jesus showed us the way when he lived on earth, that there is no way to achieve great things. In fact, when he was living, he handed over the global vision to his team. Make disciples of all the nations. Be witnesses to me in Jerusalem, all Judea and Samaria, and to the uttermost ends of the earth. And they immediately also started to recruit teams. Every time we talk about these great men and women in the Bible, we talk about the teams that they had and the things that they achieved together. You see them even in their letters talking about their team members, people who they are working with in different aspects. What they couldn't do, you multiply you see, even as a person, you can't be a whole team. No individual is an entire team. No one individual is an entire team. You don't have all the skills and capacities needed to achieve your vision in yourself. But God has invested them in many other people for your sake. For the sake of the vision. He says, as each one has received a gift. There's a book in the Bible, 1 Peter 4:10. As each one has received a gift, let him minister it to one another as a good steward of the manifold graces of God. The graces of God are manifold. They are different. There are many, but they are expressed in individuals, stored up treasures. In every person here, there is a grace of God that is unique and different. But you see, he says, let each one use that gift to serve. Then it goes on and says, if you speak, speak as the oracles of God. In other words, be that person who gives your very best. If you speak, speak as the oracles of God. If you serve, serve with the ability that God supplies. That in all things God may be glorified. In other words, when teams work together, when a great team works together, God is glorified. When you find a team that is functioning well together, God is glorified. So it takes great teams to make a difference. And an excellent team is an advantage to a leader. Because then your teams are able to go where you can't go. Do what you cannot do. Right now we are seated here and there are so many teams taking care of different things. Imagine if it was one person trying to cook the food, serve the food, speak at the whatever, be the MC, would sing the music. Do you see? It's the combination. Yeah, the combination of teams. Great teams that are making a difference here at Transform. Teams that have built the facility. Teams that are maintaining, I don't know, just all sorts of things are going on. Sound, lights, things we don't know about. It's because of great teams. Every part doing its share. That's how we are going to go far. That's how we are going to achieve great things. When we start to, first of all, recognize that everyone has a contribution to make and it's important. Just because it's small doesn't mean it's insignificant. It's important. The person who is cleaning this stage is making as a great contribution as the person who's running the sound and the lights. And you know what? Everyone, when they do their share, everything comes together and then we go away and say, it was a great Transform. Why? Every part doing its share. And every part is important. Last year, I got COVID and I lost my sense of smell for many months. And I'd never really thought about a sense of smell being important. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. Until I realized, smell is important. Every part doing its share. Because I couldn't cook without smell. I cook by smelling. And so I struggled. And smell can alert you of danger. You can smell smoke. What the eye can't see, the nose can catch. But I don't know when the last time was that you thanked God for the ability to smell. So I want you to believe in the power of a team. If you don't believe that teams are important, you will not invest in raising great teams. So let me tell you, do you want to hear a story? I want to tell you a story about a leader that failed to raise a team. The Lone Ranger. Chuck Norris. John Rambo. So many years ago, this girl left university, fresh out of campus, and this girl is me. So I reported to my first job. Arrived, determined to really show off God, and we had learned church begins on Monday, and we had been taught that everywhere you go, leave a taste of heaven. Be the Joseph generation. You understand? Walk in there and let your leader be like, I don't have to take care of anything. So I walk in, and then I'm eventually given a job at the reception area, and I was like, I determined that I was going to be the best receptionist they had ever seen. And so I was always smiling, great attitude, and eventually in a few months I got promoted, created a job for me. A few months later, from being an intern, a receptionist, they created something called customer care coordinator, and then I was a supervisor before I knew it. Now this was my problem. As a receptionist, I led myself well. As a coordinator, I still really was mostly leading myself. As a supervisor, I had a team of about 13 people. But my issue was I did not know how to do with a team. Because how I had been raised was, do your job well and figure it out. I don't ask for help easily. I'm learning. But I usually watch and then figure out what's needed. Try and figure it out until I figure it out. So I thought that's how everyone is. You figure it out. So now this team, I had a team, at least we called it a team, a group. Had a group of people, and we worked together. Also, we said, everyone really was minding their business. It was one of the worst teams to belong to. People were angry all the time, bad attitude. Let me give you a picture. When I came to work that first day, as an intern, I walk in and I find this lady. I hope she's watching. We became friends, called Jackie. I find her much older than me, had been in the department very many, maybe 15 years. And so I walk in, and I'm timid, and you're trying to find your footing, and I'm like, hello, hi. And she's like, she does that. She says, you're talking to me? I say, yes. She said, mind your business. We're here to do our jobs. We're not here to make friends. So that was generally how it was in that department. We were at war. That was day one, please. So from that point on, I was minding my business and trying to find anyone who tried to be friendly. And so here I am, and I'm the team leader. I'm young, fresh out of campus. They definitely don't respect me. They don't think I have anything much to contribute, and I'm aware that they don't respect me. I also don't respect myself, and so I don't know what we are going to do. So I'm sitting there just praying for the Lord to help me. But the problem was I learned how to do everyone's job. So I would report very early in the morning, and I kid you not, I would take at least 200 calls a day. I would respond to at least 70 to 80 emails a day, and I would stay till late. By the time those 2 years ended, my hair was starting to fall out. I never took a day off, but the department was doing well. The results were coming in, but I was dying, and the team was weak. So eventually I needed to go on my honeymoon. I got married. I asked for a time off. My boss, naturally, even though you were him, the one person holding together the team, he told me, no, this is not Worship Harvest, by the way. I wasn't working at Worship Harvest. So don't think my boss, you think Apostle Mose would let me do it? No. So asked for leave, and they said, no, you can't go on honeymoon. I said, well, I guess the only way to go is to resign. So I resigned and gave my boss and my resignation and an invitation to the wedding. And he came, actually. He came to the wedding. I was like, after all, I'm getting married. My husband earns a salary. We won't die. So I quit. Yeah, I quit. And when I quit, I kid you not, for 2 years, I was getting calls every week from the organization because the team fell apart. No one could do anything. The gaps now, I first felt good about it. I was like, yeah, let them feel it. Let them feel my absence. After a while, I realized, wow, what a bad leader you were. You left a weak team that could not survive without you. If your team is weak, you are weak. We reproduce ourselves. So even though you found them weak, your job is not to be better than them. It's to make them better. Your job is not to outshine your team. It's to make them shine. And I failed at that miserably. I found a team that was the same people, falling apart. Just, they were the negative talk of the entire organization. So 2 years later, they called me back to go the same role because no one could do the job. And I knew that I had failed. So I went back determined. I found the same team, bad attitude, high gossip environment. Yeah, just bad environment. But I went in a different leader. In those 2 years, I had grown. Worship Harvest is a growth environment, so we had been reading, learning about leadership. So I went in determined to make a difference. And I had 2 more years, 3 years with that team. I kid you not, within the first year, that team turned around so much. Same people. Turned around so much that they had to bring teams from sub-Saharan Africa to study a customer care team. And when I left them, I never got a call. I mean not one. Not a call, not one call ever. Because what had happened is we had turned this team around so much that anyone could replace anyone in any role. And when I left within 3 months, everyone apart from one person got promoted. Managers, because the capacity of the team had become so good. What had happened was that I stopped thinking that I had a bad team. And some of you think I have a bad team. Stop coveting the team of your friend. Grow your team. The team you got at the beginning, Apostle Moses likes to say that the wife you got was the work of her parents. The one you have now is your work. Look what you've done. And so I want to use that same analogy to say the team you got was the team that was handed to you at that point. The one you have after a while is the one you've created. Look what you've done. Because that team you're complaining about, if they hand it over to a great leader who believes in people capacity, they will turn it around and you'll be ashamed. So you have to decide that you're that leader. You're that leader who believes in capacity of people. The team you got is the one you are given. So Bill, I want you to say this with me. Say, I have the power to turn my current team into the team of my dreams. I have the power to turn my current team into the team of my dreams. Oh yes. Take responsibility for that team. Look at them and see value. Don't see problems. Because what you see, you lift. If you see a problem, you raise a problem. When you see capacity, you call out capacity. And when you find discouraged, disillusioned, whatever men, you can turn them into a fighting, winning team. If you see a fighting team in those discouraged men. Because they will rise to what the leader calls out. They don't rise to what they see. Many people don't see anything in themselves. And so a leader comes along and starts to show you what they see in you. So, the role of the leader is not to become a whole team, but to equip the team for the work of whatever it is that they are doing. And so I want us to talk about some things that we can do practically to strengthen teams, to make teams great. And there's nothing new I'm going to say to you that you've not read in a book. And so I'll tell some stories as much as I can. But I want to divide it into 2 parts, right? These points, I want to divide them into 2 parts. 1, relationship and results. I find that those are the 2 mixes that create a great team. The capacity to have relationship with your team and the capacity to produce results. Many leaders want to do either or. You're either greatly relational or you're great at results. But if we put the 2 together, you get a combination that is powerful. It's a powerful combination. When you put together results and relationship, you have a great team. And you can grow in either way. As a leader, you can grow in your relationship capacity and capacity to produce results. You're not born that way. You can actually grow in any of these areas. I'll start with relationships because results are mostly easy for most leaders. producing the results. And we already touched a lot on that even yesterday. The speakers who spoke did a great job on that. So let's start on relationships. And so, of course, the first thing which will appear in both relationship and results is the growth of the leader. Because we've agreed that it is the leader who makes a team. Guys, I want you to really believe that. Because some of you here think I got a bad team. But it is the leader who makes a team. The growth, the personal growth of the leader is one of the most powerful things that will build a winning team. You as a leader, the first thing I want you to, the first point is personal growth of the leader. And it will appear both in relationship and in results. So in relationships, it's that you as a leader must pursue people bigger than you. Who is your mentor? Who is your coach? Who is the person that is helping you become a better leader? Who can tell you the truth and show you gaps that you have in your leadership? There must be someone who is better than you at what you are doing in terms of growing great teams. So who is your coach? When it comes to relationship, the first relationship you should pursue is the relationship with someone ahead of you. Because they will help you to build great teams. So have great people ahead of you that you're continuously pursuing. If you follow someone great, you will become better in your leadership. And for me, that's what has helped. I'll tell you the truth that if I did not have a great leader to follow, my team would be in trouble. Because my capacity increases. If I have someone ahead of me who is quick, my pace grows. Because I'm chasing someone ahead of me. But if I don't have anyone ahead of me, I have myself. Do you understand? I'm limited. I just have myself. But when I have someone ahead of me, I am chasing them and my team is also moving. They are not stagnant. So a stagnant leader who has no one to follow ends up with a stagnant team as well. So invest in great relationships with people who are bigger than you. Dear leaders, let's invest in those relationships. Pursue people. Read books. And that stuff will come. We'll talk about results. We'll still talk about the personal growth of the leader in results. But in relationship, the first relationship is your relationship with those ahead of you. Because that increases your capacity for vision, your capacity for relationships. There are things that you just don't see. Be it in the team of a marriage team. If you have some people ahead of you in marriage, they will help you to be married better. In terms of if your team is a team in church, get people in church leadership that are ahead of you. If it's business, get business leaders who are ahead of you. Whichever it is, get someone ahead of you who is doing the stuff you want to do. Learn from them, because when a leader gets better, everyone wins. Because that makes you better. You have a place where you can bounce off ideas, bring your difficulties to them, and they'll help you. The second thing under relationships is know your team. And when I say know your team, I mean know your team. My hope is that your team, when I talk about know your team, I'm talking about the people who are the closest to you. Because your team should have layers. If you have 400 people, I'm not saying you get to know all of them. I'm saying maybe the 10 at the top who have the 10 others under them, on and on it goes. Those 10. So why is it important to know your team? When you get to know your team, you get to know the capacities they carry, and you get to know their strengths and abilities, and you call those things out, and you end up with a very powerful team. Because knowledge of their value helps you to communicate the value they bring to the team. Do you understand? I'll tell you 2 stories. Early this year, my husband and I got the opportunity to start leading a new church. And now when I say new, it has existed for 7 years. Meaning there were leaders who people loved, who were leading and planted that church. So we come in. The uniqueness of this is that when we came in, because I am on staff, so I am the lead pastor between my husband and I. So I take full responsibility on the team. But you see, I was 9 months pregnant. And I was giving birth in 3 weeks. And we took over a new church plan, a new church. Okay? I thought to myself, I'm going to disappear from these people in exactly 2 weeks and go and have a baby. They will not see me for a while. They don't know me. They know about me. They've heard stories, and most of the stories they were hearing were interesting. They were hearing that, she's tough. She sends you messages at 3 a.m. while quarreling. I'm like, who told people these things? These things are not true. So they were ready for war. They are here. They're even laughing because they know the truth. So I knew that the first thing to do is to bring the walls down. That I send messages at 3 a.m. and I'm shooting people down, warning them. At 3 in the morning, it's in the name, B3. So, I knew that I had work to do. So right after we were announced as the new pastors, I worked together with Pastor Jean, and I met 110 people in 10 days. And you know how I did it? We would meet them in groups of 10. And we would sit down and have a meal and hear everyone's story one by one. When they came on, it was very hard. It was hard work emotionally. You know, people, they would sit, they would cook, they would come home, there's food, and we would sit, and then they would start to tell their stories. Now when they came with their notebooks ready for me to share a vision. Auntie, I'm there, we are at war, right? And I would tell them, no. I just want to know your stories. I want to know the people I'm leading with. I want to know who are you? Beyond the role that you have here. Who are you? Where do you come from? So we asked 3 critical questions. Tell me about your family. And under your family, how many parents and siblings do you have? And that in itself was a long story. I have 7 mothers. How they are 7. Okay, my father, then he left us. Then after that. So now you get to see a family dynamic right there. And then 3 critical things that have defined your life. And people would share deeply. Lots of tears. Remember, they came in as strangers when they walked in. High tension, people stand, they don't know where they should sit. By the time they would leave, we were feeling connected. Not only me being connected to them, they connected with each other, because the surprising thing was that they had never heard each other's stories. So they were team members, but they had not connected beyond. There's something that happens when a team goes just beyond the task at hand, and you become human beings. Because deep down, I want to be known. I want to be known as a person, a human being, not just a machine that produces work. And so, these teams started to connect. The next Sunday, by the time we met after those 10 days, there was a buzz, there was a warmth. And it wasn't just towards me, it was amongst themselves. They were like brothers and sisters. And let me tell you, suddenly I could challenge them almost immediately on things. Because they were human beings. They were not strangers to me. I would walk in, I would know this person might struggle here because of what I've heard about this and this in their story. This one, I can already tell they have a great skill set in this area. And so I was already challenging them. But you said you like this. Now why don't you do that? No. You can build that team. You can be a part of this and the other. Why? I know you. I know something about you that you told me that can help me to help you be better. Do you know your team beyond that? Results that they produce? Do you know their story? Do you know where they come from? Do you know the things that have defined their life up to this point? Do you know the dreams they carry beyond the task at hand? Because when you know the dreams that they carry, you can also add value to them beyond the task at hand in the area of their dreams. Does that make sense? And I'm part of a team here at Worship Harvest, that because when you connect with your team, it increases synergy. You get to see them beyond their role, and they so have the wisdom to pursue both results and relationships. I'll tell you quickly about the team that I belong to later on. I'll tell you about Apostle Mose and his knowledge of us as a team. Because the other thing I want to say to you is, believe in your team after knowing them. Believe in them and their unique ability to achieve great things and communicate it often. It's one thing to know the value I bring. It's another for you to tell me the value I bring. Because if I don't know that I bring value, I'm not going to bring more value. I don't know how else to put it. But when I know that I bring a certain value to the team, every time that task shows up, I'm happy to do it. Because you've told me, this is the thing, when your team gets to know that you believe in them, it's like you've given them permission to be more of that thing. Now, how do you communicate value? Beyond telling me that I have value, give me opportunity in that area that you say I have value. This is the thing. Apostle Mose is very great at this. Believing in the team and communicating value. I'll tell you 2 stories. One, recently, Apostle, last Sunday, just this Sunday, we were chatting on a group with the other people that he disciples, and he was telling us to go to 1,000 in physical attendance. And we're like, yeah, we're working towards it now. Worship Harvest Gaza, where I lead, we had gone to 700 and then 600, 7. We're oscillating. So he said, and he knows that we love it when he visits. So he said, if I visit you this Sunday, will you get 1,000 people in the room? I was like, you're joking. We will get 1,000 people in the room. And so he called out value. Because by the time he's saying that, it means he believes we can. Yeah? There are places where I don't think he would tell them that, will you get 1,000 people in the room if I come this Sunday? He'd probably say, will you get 500? So for me, him saying, will you get them in the room, say it to me, so you think I can do it. If you think I can do it, I can do it. So I told the team, they're like, if you think we can do it, we can do it. Now we got to 957, 43 people shy. But had we counted earlier, we would have gone to the market and bribed some people. 43 of them, paid them and made them sit down. But we counted later. But still, that's a result we have never achieved in the history of that church. We've never been 957 before. So it showed us that we can do it. So your communication is in the challenge you give sometimes to the people. Because for you think what I mean is tell them, you are great. You are great. You can do great things. You are great, yes you are. Holy One. Walked upon the sea, raise the dead. No, you don't just keep talking. Give me a challenge. Show me that I can do it. Give me resources. You know, one of the things Apostle Mose has done, he has made us in charge of bank accounts with real money. Yeah, that's someone who is saying, I believe you have capacity. So I don't mean that you go saying, I think you can manage great resources. I see it in you. Okay. So show me that you see it in me. Give me the resources. Let me sign the check. Do you really believe in? Let me chop the money. But let me tell you another thing, for example. Do you know why I think Apostle Mose has said to me that he thinks that I am a great teacher? But on top of telling it to me, do you know how I know that I think he believes it? I'm standing here. Now, he gives opportunity and calls out the value that people carry. He's called out the value in Pastor Angela. She's the leader of the worship teams. And you know why? Yesterday, I was not the one in the concert. I tell you, I write songs. I promise I write songs, even I sing. Actually, I was the worship leader before Pastor Angela. What a shock. She was on my team. She was singing I was the worship leader. She was a backup. But with time, we all know the unique value. While I can sing and she can teach, we know the value we each bring. And how our leader has called it out and given distinct opportunities. I can celebrate her and she can celebrate me. Because I know I bring value. She knows she brings value. We all know the other people. I wrote down different people. We know that Pastor Chris Nsubuga is highly relational. So he's always in protocol things, talking to people. He can talk to anyone about anything. Have you ever seen Apostle putting me in charge of the protocol of pastors? You think he doesn't think I'm a good person? I'm good, but we all know the unique availability we bring. Pastor Jeremy, Pastor Ari, pastoral people. They have the deep conversations. They make the people feel good. They are the healing balm. Even me, I'm a good person. Pastor Jean, you can see that Apostle has recognized her good looks, her campasa looks. The girl has 5 children, but she looks like... But even me, I'm a good person. So you call out the greatness in your team by recognizing the contribution they make and actually giving them opportunities around it. Don't just talk about it. Give me opportunity. Give me opportunity. If you say that it is true, okay, give me. You can't keep saying, you see me here. You are a great singer. But I've never seen you tell me to sing. But you're a great singer. You will make it. I see it in you. You will make it in the music industry. I see it. But I've never held a microphone. Every time I try, you take it away. Boss, you're too good, eh? So believe in your team and communicate value to them. Every member of the team should know that they are known, they are valued, and understand what value do I bring. When I know the value I bring, you guys, I shine. Do your people know the value they bring? Or they just know they are part of a big team? They are like a blob. We are a team. In every team, people bring unique things. Let them know. Let them know the thing that I know that I can pull off an event under pressure with a few days. Why? I have been given that opportunity time and time again. And so I know. And it grows. So let the people know the thing that they bring. And then maybe the last thing I'll say, two things I'll say under relationships. Empower, delegate, and share authority. I already talked about that. I'm not going to get into it too much. Empower, delegate, and share authority and leadership. Raise leaders by giving them opportunity to lead, to envision, to raise resources, to be followed by others. You know, spread the authority. That's what Jesus did. He said, actually, the same authority I have I've given to you, greater works shall you do. You know, layer. Don't be the one leading everything. Let people lead one another. Let there be layers of leadership. Even though you have a team of 10, create at least 2 distinct leaders who are leading 5 of each, and you lead the 2. But because that's how you increase leadership capacity. It's not only, you're not a lone voice. You have a voice beyond your own. Let people lead things where you don't have to be. You become a coach. You become a coach. Allow the people to. Don't get stuck in the task. Elevate. Be able to see the team and then lift them up. Become a coach. Become a coach who sees capacity and draws it out and keeps giving opportunity. Share authority. Delegate. Don't be like me who said, I would delegate, but it was the worst. For me to delegate to you was the worst thing that could happen to you. Because I would say I've delegated. Then I would hover and micromanage until I've done it through you. By the time you're done, you would feel so tired and irritated because I would be all over you. Did you do it? Okay, send me again. Let me see it. Then I change it. Then I send it to you back. Then you send it as if you're the one who sent it, but I did it. I didn't trust people. You see that thing where you don't trust people? It's pride. Because you think you're better than everyone. Someone believed in you. Someone gave you opportunity. You're not better than everyone. At one point, you are not as good as you are. So even those people right now, they are not as good. Can you train and coach while they do? And give them opportunity to get better. So that eventually you have strong people around you. Who also can then start. Now those people, strangely, also then when they get strong, they start stopping to trust others. So you have to also make them raise other strong people. Because when you get better, you think you are always that way. But you are not. So believe in the capacity of people. And the patience to raise leaders. Because those teams that you admire, someone raised them. The last thing under relationships that I'll say, and that is very critical. I don't know who said it, but I think I've always heard Apostle Moses say it. That culture eats strategy for breakfast. If you have your great strategy, and you have a bad culture, it's dead. I'll tell you again about myself and my bad, very, very bad leadership days at that same organization. This department, at some point, we had a boss who was really bad. That's the truth. He was bad. And yeah, he was really bad. Didn't believe in people, created discouragement in the team, disunity. And so what we did as a team, our response to his bad was we became a gossiping department. And I was the team leader. I didn't discourage it, let's just say. It was a preaching gift which was misallocated. Yeah, thank you, Apostle. Yeah. It was misallocated preaching gift. So I really preached negatively against him. We gossiped. We got to a point where we were treating customers so badly. And I woke up one day and I was convicted. I hated the environment I worked in and I had created it. Can I tell you something, leaders? The culture you have on your team right now is the culture you've allowed. And no one can correct it but you. If your people gossip, you've allowed it. If they are latecomers, you've allowed it. If they are mediocre, you've allowed it. You've allowed it. If another leader comes who won't allow it, the culture will change. It is what it is. You've allowed it. So that culture you admire, someone has created it. The network is freezing. So do you know what I did? I remember I called for a team meeting at 7 in the morning. We used to start work at 8:30. Emergency meeting. And I stood before my team, and some of them are here who worked with me in that place. And I say to them, I want to apologize to you for what I have allowed. I've allowed us to be gossips. I've allowed us to be terrible to customers. I've allowed us to be underperformers. And now you are worse than you were before. And so I want to say I'm sorry. And I want to say to you that we will not be doing that again. This team is going to turn around now. The work began. Actually turning it around. Where you feel like the one who is holier than thou. And remember, I used to be their peer. Now I had to be their leader. Yes, that transition. So it became hard work. The next few days was correcting. Excuse me, you can't have that conversation. Who did you just talk to on the phone? Warning letters, what? I had to become like, and then the culture flipped, and I loved working in that space. We all loved it, but we had to create it. I'm sharing those bad stories to say to you that maybe that's what you've created, a bad culture. You can undo it. Yeah, there's no culture that you can't undo. It's just hard work of undoing. So define the culture you want, build it, and exemplify it. One of the greatest things that builds amazing teams is the example of the leader. That people will do what we do. You will always have the culture you've allowed your team to have. So, change the culture to the one you want. Let's talk about results. So those were 5 things under relationships. Results. Can we talk about results? Do you know the first thing about results? Personal growth of the leader. Again. Personal growth of the leader. Personal growth of the leader. The difference between 2 teams with the same talent level is the quality of the leader. We will give you the same talent level, but they will either rise to your level or go lower. They can give you a great team and it becomes mediocre. They can give you a mediocre team and it becomes great. The differentiator between a team with the same talent level is the leader of the team. So you must become a person who is always growing. Because as you grow, you have greater capacity to help your team be better. You must be growing, reading books, having mentors, learning, going to growth environments, become comfortable with discomfort. You have to always be growing, stretching, getting better. Your skill, your ability to lead, your ability to teach, your ability to train, your ability to coach, you must be growing. If the leader whose team you admire handed you their team, it would eventually rise or fall to your current level of growth. Because what you admire is that person grows. And our leader, the leader who I have, Apostle Mose, is always pursuing growth. Look, there is always some form of change going on. Because there is no growth without change. Things must change to get better. To move from good to better, good to great, you're changing. If it stays the same, it's how it was. And so he's always growing. And you know, that his personal example inspires us and causes us great respect. Great respect. Great passion. There was a time we were in a prayerless movement. Mostly because our leader prayed, but not so much. When he flipped and started praying, he first made sure that it worked in him. Then he started inviting smaller levels, greater. Then it became a movement thing. But it's like every time he grows, we grow, don't we? So even you, every time you grow, hopefully, if you're a good leader, your team should grow. Don't grow alone. You'll be frustrated. If you choose to grow alone, be ready to be frustrated. So when you grow, invite your team into that thing. that you've grown into. And not only think about the task at hand. Let people grow in other areas of their lives, because when they grow beyond the task, they grow. Like they have to be better even at what they do when other areas grow. So personal growth of the leader, we are always growing. We are like, if you're around, when Apostle did the John Maxwell team, we all became John Maxwell team people. Certified. Straightforward financial growth. Do you guys remember 10,000 steps? We backslid. All had to get smartwatches and report on our 10,000 steps. We need to repent. Speed of the leader, speed of the team. So, because when you have a leader that is always growing, you're always growing. Most of the skills we've achieved, we didn't go looking for them. We were forced to gain them because of our leader. But now we shine. Yeah, not because we weren't trying to do those things. We were forced, literally. So who you're following is important. Keep increasing your capacity. Keep increasing your capacity. Keep increasing your capacity. Never settle. Never settle as a leader. Never settle. And about 2 or 3 other things. A clear, compelling vision. That will be the compass of your team. That one was already talked about yesterday by Apostle Mose. But listen, great vision precedes great achievement. Every team needs a compelling vision to give it direction. So a team without a vision at worst is purposeless. Yeah, and at best it is subject to the personal agendas of its various teammates. If you don't give them vision, they'll come up with their own. Just don't get annoyed when they do, because they are trying to achieve something. So as the agendas work against each other, the team's energy and drive drain away. On the other hand, a team that embraces a vision becomes focused, energized, and confident. It knows where it is headed. So do your teams know where they are headed? Where are we going? What does the future look like? What does winning look like? A clear common vision and goals will inspire passion in the team. Oneness of mind. They create momentum because everyone is driving towards the same goal. People start correcting themselves around the vision because they are trying to go for the same thing. There is this energy that comes from that synergy that is going towards the same goal. So it has to be clear. What are we achieving? And what does it look like this month? What is important next month? So the vision has to be clear. The end goal. Where are we going? We all know it's 3,000 churches by a specific amount of time. Every church must plant at least every 3 years. So I know if I'm doing well or not. It's not like I'm wondering, I wonder what we are trying to achieve. I think we are trying to go to Spain. Yeah. So you will just find us fundraising for a mission to Spain. And the apostle is annoyed, and I'm like, but that's my vision. You didn't give me one, so I have mine. So if you don't give people vision, they'll come up with their own, and it will just drain energy. The third thing is, following vision is clearly define the contribution of every member and maximize the value they bring. You know, where there is no clarity, nobody takes responsibility for anything. So define what the winning looks like. And it has to be continuous until it's very clear. So how do I know I've won? What is the big deal right now? What is my unique contribution to the team that I am a part of? What is my contribution? I know that I'm in charge of missional communities here at Worship Harvest. And so I know that I can't be looking and saying, hey, missional communities, Pastor Angela, you really need to do something about it. All of us know our unique contributions. So when they talk about that, I know that that's my unique contribution. So that's what I'm thinking about, dreaming about. So do people know what their unique contribution is on your teams? Or it's everyone is trying to go somewhere? And then training and equipping. This one, add value to your team. Train. Keep them sharp. Train. Never think, look, people, it keeps leaking. Keep training. Continuously train and stretch the team. If they get stagnant, death begins. Yeah. You find a team that used to be vibrant is now off. Just train. Train again. Envision again. Get them excited about the things again. Keep them challenged. Not overly challenged. I mean, there should be some celebration. But keep them trained. And lastly, differentiation and celebration. Differentiate. If you treat all of us the same, then you're not going to have anything great. There are no heroes. Celebrate the ones who are doing a really good job. When you do that, you're telling me what is important, and you're telling me where you want me to go. I see a place to go. I also want to be celebrated. So I have something to aim for. So celebrate and differentiate. Let it be systemized. How often do you celebrate people? It can't only be when you feel like it. There's got to be parameters of achievement that then help us to say, yes, this so-and-so excelled in this area. What are the parameters of achievement? Who has excelled? Do the people know who has excelled? What has been done for the one who has excelled? Is it just clapping for them? I don't know if I care about your clapping. So what has been done? At Worship Harvest, we get gifts every half year. The pastors, we have a real evaluation and we get serious gifts. Oh yeah, serious gifts. And so people look forward to it, and there is great anticipation and celebration and crying sometimes for people who have not won. But it's good, so that they look forward to doing better next time. So is there any system of differentiation on your team? And celebration, regular evaluations where you celebrate and reward what you want others to focus on. So give the team heroes and a healthy culture of competition and achievement. Listen, great teams make a difference. The first thing that I think, if you walk away with, forget everything else that I said, 2 big things. 1, the quality of the leader determines the quality of the team. So you must invest in yourself as a leader. Secondly, believe in the value of your team. Believe genuinely. Look at people and see people with value. If you look at them and just see problems that were handed to you, you'll not lift them. Look at people and put a 10 on them. Look at people and decide that I'm going to believe in you and I'm going to give you opportunity, and you will fail on your own. But I will believe in you, I will give you opportunity, and let them know that you believe in them. One of the things that has happened, because in my heart I truly believe that, I believe in people. And so everywhere I've led, I've made the teams believe that they are the best. And actually I remember one time Apostle, when he came to then Katikati, said to me, I think you're creating a problem. I think it was a bit too much. Like for them, they were like, for us here, at Katikati. Now we had to help them see that they are part of a movement. But even though you're part of me, I want them to believe that we are the best out there. We can't get embarrassed. When you go to Worship Harvest Nali and we have an event, show them, let them mark you and know you must be from Katikati. We are the best. So they have this thing about them of we are the best. So when we went to downtown, they really believed they were the best. And they rubbed it in everyone's faces. Now the people of Gayaza believe no one can beat them. So you must be that leader who inspires belief in your team. Let them know that, and don't pretend about it. Be serious. And if they are the best, then equip them so that when they show up, they stand out. Inspire belief in your team that they can achieve great things and that they have value and that they carry value, and tell them until they believe it. And don't just tell them, give them tasks that challenge them to do things that seem so difficult, so that when they achieve them, they are like, wait a minute, I think we are great. Give them opportunity to achieve great things. Keep challenging your teams. Don't make them small by giving them little things all the time. Make them big by giving them big things that are difficult to achieve. And in that time, you have to become some kind of way. Then when they achieve, celebrate. Yeah, in that time, you have to be some kind of... That's why they were accusing me of calling people at 3 a.m. Because there were seasons when I would actually do that. Because I needed you to achieve, and I needed you to know that you can... So don't babysit your team. There are things that you allow children to do. There are things that you don't allow children to do. So lift your team up to the belief that you have. You will raise them. How you treat your team is a result of what you see in them. So if you see them as weaklings who will crumble and crash, that's how you will treat them. But if you see them as people of value, significance, who can achieve great things, that's how you will treat them, and that's how you will raise them. So don't try to be popular with your team. Be a person who lifts them up. Who lifts them up, who lifts them up, and lifts them up. And you can only lift them up to what you see. You can't lift them up beyond what you see. So grow as a leader, believe in the value of your team, and lift them up to achieve great things. Thank you so much.
Whoa, whoa.